Right, now you'll recall at the end of the lesson, or in the email which I sent out a short home task as well. Let's begin with looking at that. What I want to look at, I think I'll actually run a proper contract drafting course for you. So what we'll do this evening is we'll look at business structures, companies, partnerships, limited liability partnerships, things like that. Right, let me share my screen. Let me bring up, let me move this to one side. Right. Now, we had this home task. The exercise is this. Somebody called Jose Perez is talking about the advantages and disadvantages of being a sole trader. A sole trader is just a one-person business. They may have a market stall, may have a little shop. It's just one person. Not registered as a company, not registered as anything. They're just buying and selling things, perhaps. So Jose doesn't speak English brilliantly, certainly not legal English. Here's his explanation of what's going on, and he's used, well, he's used a number of words here. What we're going to do is we're going to change these words in the text here. We're going to use more effective, precise words. Let me do the first one for you. I considered all the advantages and disadvantages when I created my business. Yes, you could say that, but probably an English lawyer would say, I considered all the advantages and disadvantages when I set up my business. Okay, to set up. Now, what's the answer to be? In the end, I opted what? Write that in the chat box for me. Opted what? Well, in fact, no need to write in the chat box. I'm going to assume most of you, if not all of you, have done this home task. Would that be right? Just put a Y in the chat box, Y for yes, in the chat box, if you've actually performed this home task. Okay. Let me just see how many have done it. Good. 3 of you, 4 of you. Oh, okay. 5 of you, good, good. Anybody? 6, that's better. Okay, anybody else? 7, 8, good. 9, 10, 11. Okay, well, that's just under 50%. All right, well, you leave it as well. Right, I'm going to go through the answers anyway, but I'll go through them slowly. So those of you who haven't done the exercise can try and do it with us. All right. So Jose said, I considered all the advantages and disadvantages when I created or set up my business. And in the end, I opted to a type of business. That's the wrong preposition, isn't it? I opted for, F-O-R, I opted for a type of business in which I'm called a sole trader. It's easy to what? He said operate. What's another simple word that would mean operate? Oh, 17, good. Oh, a lot of you, good. All right, okay. Well, 21, 22. Oh, everybody's done it. Oh, excellent. Good. Oh, okay, good. All right. It's easy to run is the informal word. To run, meaning to operate, manage, administer, to run. It's easy to run, and you don't need to register, indeed. You don't need to register with anyone, except the tax authorities. As I am the sole owner, I'm entitled what? Entitled means I have the right to. I'm entitled to all the profits that the business earns. Well, that's a good word, but in fact, it's all the profits that the business makes. All the business makes. In his original description, he said, but if things go wrong, I take all the losses. No, But if things go wrong, I bear, B-E-A-R, as in burden, to carry. I bear. Let me just write that in the chat box. Oh, you've all written it. Oh, great, great. Bear, yes, bear. B-E-A-R, very good. Good, Alina. I bear all the losses. I have unrestricted liability. Well, yes, it is unrestricted, but the formal word we use is unlimited. Good, Vika. Good, Anna. Good, Alexi. Unlimited liability for the debts of the business, which means that my own assets. Yeah. Well, rather than say own, we'd use a more formal word. My personal, good Vika. My Alina, Lasanja, everybody, Lyubov, great. My personal assets are at risk if I can't pay my creditors. I borrowed some money with the bank. No, that's not correct. I borrowed some money from the bank. Everybody's got that, great. I borrowed some money from the bank, and now they are this. I wonder if you have this. And now he says, and now they have security for my house. That's wrong. Now they have security. Now, what's the preposition? Okay. Juliana Kravchenko, very good. They have security over my house. That doesn't make any sense at all, does it? But that's what it is. I have security over your house because I have registered a charge on your house, which has given me security over your house. But it's not security on the house or security to the house, it's security over. As I said, these legal prepositions are not easy and they don't make any logical sense. Over, Marina. Great, Olga. Great. Okay, great. Well done. All right, well done, everybody. Okay. Partnerships. Right, well, we're going to look at business structures. Okay. So that's a sole trader. Basically, anybody can be a sole trader. You just start doing business. You should register with the tax authorities. And if you don't, they'll be very annoyed and they may prosecute you. But it doesn't stop you just going straight down to the local market, putting your goods on a table and starting to sell them. You have no protection in respect of keeping your own assets safe. You have what we call unlimited liability. Now, I know while you're in England, you're dealing with limited companies. Limited there does not mean that there's some restriction on them in some way. Limited refers to the liability of the owners, or that is the shareholders, or the directors or managers, to have to pay the debts of the company from their own assets. Basically, they don't. Their liability is limited purely to the money they paid for the shares. And if they're the directors who don't own any shares, for example, well, they don't have any liability. So that's what limited refers to, the liability. Now, partnerships don't have limited liability. A partnership is, the definition of a partnership is this: two or more persons, two or more, so it could be hundreds, two or more persons acting together for a common purpose with a view to making a profit. We might all decide we're all going to meet up and have a big party, so it's a common purpose. It's not a business, is it? Because we're not intending to make a profit out of it. So it's a business structure. In theory, you could form a partnership without any paperwork at all. Two people could just meet and agree to do business together and shake hands. But quite frankly, because you want to be able to prove who was responsible for what work and who owned what in the partnership, it's always best to actually have a document, a partnership agreement. Partnership is an odd sort of situation. They were set up hundreds of years ago. Once a partnership is formed, it continues until either one of the partners agrees to leave, or one of them dies, or one of them becomes bankrupt. At which point the partnership stops, even if there are 6 partners and only one of them wants to leave. The other 5 must form a new partnership. Right. So what we got here is a business fact sheet from the Royal Chatsworth Bank. Fact sheet about partnerships. Fill in the gaps in the text with the correct words. Right, now let me just deal with some aspects of partnership. Right, well, let's have a look at joint and several. Imagine there's a partnership of 10 people and it got into financial trouble. Because of that, most of the partners don't have any money. But imagine 2 of the partners were very rich. Well, their liability, the liability of all 10 partners, is equal. But 8 of them have got no money. So you don't want to bother to sue them. There's no point. So what you will do is, while they are jointly liable for the debts of the business, if they've all got some money, you'll sue all of them. But if only 1 or 2 of them have any money, you will sever, that is, cut them from the partnership and just sue the ones with the money. They will ask the others for a contribution towards any claim which you make. As the others don't have any money, they're unlikely to be very successful. So that is joint and several liability. Several doesn't mean a different number. Several refers to sever, S-E-V-E-R, to sever, to cut with one stroke of the sword. I will sever this from the contract. I will put a line through it. Okay, sleeping. A sleeping partner is a partner who doesn't actually do any work in the partnership. Why do we have them? Well, usually you find sleeping partners are people who've invested a large amount of money so that the other partners can set up the business and run it. The sleeping partner will take a share of the profits to be agreed with the others in the partnership deed or document, but they don't actually do any work. They may not even take part in the decision-making process. It's their choice. They may be very rich. They don't want to be bothered with the partnership. They just want an annual income from it. Profits, well, we know what profits are. That's the excess of income over expenditure. Assets refers to things of value which a business owns. A company, a limited liability partnership, a partnership. Self-employed means you are working for yourself. You're not employed by another person, you're working for yourself. So partnerships are owned by the partners. So all the partners are self-employed. If they take on further staff, then those staff are employees of the partnership. Right. Creditor is somebody to whom you owe money. Register, well, that means to go through the formal process of registration with the tax authority or the government. Legal entity refers to any non-human legal person. It could be a charity, a company, a church, a government, a limited liability partnership, a private limited company, a public limited company. They're all legal entities. Entity means thing. So a human being, of course, has a legal right, but we would say they are a person as opposed to a legal entity. Resigns, well, that's to say I leave, I quit, I will not work anymore. Dissolved means to close something down. There's a big connection in English between water and money. A lot of our idioms in business refer to water. Can the company stay afloat? Will the bank float a loan? We'll have liquid cash. We are insolvent, solve, dissolve, insolvent, meaning we cannot pay our debts as they fall due. So when a company is, or a partnership finishes, it is dissolved. Not broken up or stopped, but dissolved. Okay, salaried. Right. In law firms, you have partners who actually own the business, and you have other partners who are responsible for the debts of the business but they don't own it. They are merely salaried partners. Young lawyers always want to be partners as quick as possible. When they're offered the opportunity of becoming a salaried partner, they usually say, yes, please. What they don't realize is as soon as they become partners, they are responsible for the debts of the business. And all they're going to get in return is the annual salary, probably the same as they received as a manager. So being a salaried partner isn't quite as wonderful as actually being an equity partner or just a manager. As a salaried partner, they get to take a vote in partners' meetings as to how the business is going to be run. Fine. But is it worth the risk of having your house and your car taken from you for the debts of the business? And equity. Wow. This word has 3 different meanings in the law. Equity comes from the word equal, of course. Right. Equity is an area of the law of equity, which means the law of fairness. All senior common law judges around the world are allowed to ignore the strict rules of the statutes and regulations and law in order to be able to make a decision in a court case which is fair. That is the law of equity. It's very old. There are lots of rules. It's a defense to stop somebody being unfairly treated by the law because of some strange set of circumstances, which means this one individual, in this one particular case, is going to be dealt with very harshly by the law. So the judge can step in and use the laws of equity to protect them. So equity, and there's lots of phrases like this, lots of rules. Equity is a defense, equity is a shield, not a sword. He who comes to equity must come with clean hands, meaning you can't have done anything wrong if you're claiming equity in the case. You can't have done anything wrong yourself. Equity aids the vigilant, not the sleeping. If you want to claim equity, you've got to do it straight away, rather than let things ride for a few years. And that's one meaning of the word equity. Equity also refers to the amount of value which you own in a house. If I have a house worth £200,000 and I have a mortgage to the bank for £50,000, then the amount of equity which I own in the house is £150,000. The amount of value that I own in the house. That also means equity. And equity also just means fairness. In arbitration, arbitrators are under an obligation basically to make a decision according to the law. However, you can empower the arbitrators to make a decision ex aeque et bono. Aeque, equity. In other words, for what is good and fair. In other words, to use the old lex mercatoria of Europe and basically apply the principles of business to give a fair decision. So equity has a lot of different meanings. Okay, right. Now, having told you all that, let's see if you can put the right words in this letter from the bank. Okay, I'll read. If 2 or more people wish to go into business together, a partnership offers a simple way to do so. Partners share the control, responsibility, and finances of the business. You do not need to what your partnership. Let's just reduce the size to get those words on the screen. There we are. There we are. You do not need to what? Which of these 12 words fits in A? Good. You do not need to register. Great. Well done, everybody. Well done, Alexei. You do not need to register your partnership except with the tax authorities. Whoops. See if I can just... a partnership is not a what? Now, it's one of the 8 words you can see on the screen now. It's not a what? It's not a legal entity, not a separate legal entity. Good, Lyubov. Yeah, legal entity. Right. Not a legal entity. It does not have its own personality. I mean, yes, it does. You'll find the partners are very awkward sometimes. However, it's not what's called a legal person. When they say personality, they mean it's not a legal person in the sense that it can own property in its own right and be sued in its own right. Okay. As a result, each partner is regarded as being what? Let's have a look here. Each partner is regarded as being what? Self-employed. Good, Juliana. Good, Anna. Anastasia. Good, good, good. Alexei. Self-employed. Each partner will pay income tax on their share of the what of the partnership? Profits. Profits, yeah. In fact, let me stop again. I know I'm lecturing at you. Why would people form a partnership rather than a limited company when they're liable for all the debts? It's because you get to keep a much greater share of the profits because there are far fewer taxes to be paid by the partners than there is by a company. If a company makes a profit, it receives that money and then with the profit has to pay tax on the profit, called corporation tax. Then it sends the money to the owners in the form of a dividend. It has to pay tax on the dividend which it distributes to the shareholders. And where the shareholders, those individuals or companies which own the shares, receive that dividend, the money, then they must pay tax on that money as income. And because they're shareholders, they are generally regarded as not having worked for that money. So it's taxed as unearned income, which is a higher rate of tax, usually 10% above the ordinary tax rate. So that's 3 sets of taxes coming out of the profits. That's a lot. Now, with a partnership, the partnership receives money and makes a profit. Doesn't pay any tax on the profit. It then distributes the profit amongst the partners. Doesn't pay any money when it distributes the money to the partners. But the partners will pay tax on the money they receive. But if they're all working in the partnership, then it's not unearned income, it's earned income. So even though they pay tax, they pay it at a lower rate of tax. So they get to keep more of their money. So although running a partnership is risky if financially things are bad, on the other hand, if things are good, there are great advantages in being partner and having a partnership rather than having a company. You take your choice. If you don't mind taking a risk, you probably have a partnership. If you like certainty and you don't like risk, you'll probably have a limited company. Right, let's move on. I'm going to just reduce the size of this slightly. Right. Here we go. Now, a partnership often just consists of general partners, meaning all of them are liable for the debts. All of these partners have the authority to make decisions about the business. They share the profits and have what liability for any debts incurred or created by the business? They have what liability? Joint and several, very good, everybody. Yeah, I thought so, good. They have joint and several liability for any debts incurred by the business. This means that if the partnership does not pay what it owes to someone, that may demand payment. Somebody that the business owes money to is what? Let's just reduce this again slightly. Okay, that's as much as we're going to reduce it. Good, creditor. Good, who's that? Lyubov. Well done, Olga. And Rika, Alina. Good, and Victoria, creditor. Okay. If that creditor may demand payment from one or more of the partners. The partners' personal what are said to be at risk. Well, that's pretty easy, isn't it? Assets, personal assets. Good, everybody. Personal assets are said to be at risk. It is possible to have other types of partner. I might add, we're talking about an ordinary partnership, not a limited liability partnership, which is something different that was created around the end of the 1990s. We're just talking about an ordinary partnership. It is possible to have other types of partner, and something partner. Oh, I see it. And something partner contributes capital to the partnership and receives a share of the partnership profits in proportion to the amount of capital he or she has invested. Okay. I'm not entirely sure I agree with that, but okay. What sort of partner would that be? They're the ones who own the law companies, the law firms. Equity partners, meaning you actually own a share of the business. Okay. So that part of the business which is capable of being owned, which isn't mortgaged, is the equity. And you own a piece of it. So you're an equity partner. You actually own a piece of the business. Right. No. These partners are involved in all decision-making, yes. Another type of partner is a what partner? Now, this is what everybody else has got. What is that other type of partner? Who receives high remuneration for his or her services, but does not receive a share of the profits of the partnership. Oh, wow. So 3 types of partners, yeah. This is the second type of partner. There are 3 types of partners we're going to mention. This is a salaried partner. Very, very good, everyone. Who receives high remuneration. Remuneration means salary, but it means more than salary. It's a legalese word, which means salary plus all the other benefits, like medical expenses, car allowance, holiday pay. All this is part of your remuneration. It's more than your salary, it's total benefit package. Okay. Another type of partner, right, now let's see. Finally, some people may contribute money. Let's get this a bit bigger. I'm going to have to run up and down here. Okay. Finally, some people may contribute money to the partnership, but they do not involve themselves in the day-to-day control of the business. They're often called what partners or dormant partners. From dormir, the French, to sleep. Oh, you probably guess what it is then. Okay, dormant, which means basically, I'm not awake. Okay, clearly. Yes, sleeping partners. I think I'd have been upset if anybody got that wrong. Okay. Dormant means it's no longer working. We talk about dormant businesses in that they're not trading at the moment. They're still registered. It's just they're not trading at the moment. They're dormant. They're sleeping. Okay. Right. There is no legal obligation to have a partnership agreement, although this is recommended. It will help avoid or resolve any disputes which may arise. If there is no partnership agreement, in the UK, the dispute will be settled according to the Partnership Act 1890, as amended by various statutes since 1890, but that's the main legislation. However, the Partnership Act may provide a solution that the partners do not like. Also, if there is no, quite right. Also, if there is no partnership agreement, the partnership must be what instantly? The partnership, if there's no partnership agreement, the partnership must be something instantly if one of the partners dies. What is that? The partnership must be what instantly if one of the partners dies, leaves, or becomes bankrupt? Dissolved. Good. Must be dissolved instantly if a partner ceases to be a partner, for example, if he or she dies, or something, or goes bankrupt. Dies, what else? Oh yeah, dies, something, or goes bankrupt. What's that other thing? What's that other situation? Resigns. Yeah, very good, everyone. Resigns or goes bankrupt. Again, this is probably not what the partners would like to happen. No, I bet they wouldn't. Okay. Now, here are some of the strange collocations. We go into business. We also start up a business. We go into business. We have a legal entity. To make a decision. Make a decision. That's a collocation. Make a decision. Incur a debt. When we pay it, we meet a debt, but we incur a debt. We demand payment. Demand's a very formal, strong word, isn't it? Could say you request payment. This is a gentle request for you to settle our invoice, which we forwarded 2 weeks ago. And 2 months later, you say, we are writing to demand payment of our invoice, which was forwarded 10 weeks ago. To resolve a dispute, which means to settle it. To settle a dispute, to resolve a dispute. They're basically synonyms. Resolve, settle. We dissolve a partnership. We dissolve a company. We dissolve a business relationship. We dissolve a marriage. We dissolve a friendship. This means no longer exists. And we go bankrupt. Strange, isn't it? You think we incur bankruptcy or suffer bankruptcy. Well, we do suffer bankruptcy, but we go bankrupt. Right. Now, let's do some contract drafting. Right. So here's the situation. Who'd like to do some reading for me? Save my poor voice. Anybody? Anybody want to put their hand up to this?
I can.
Yes, please. Jana, is that you? Yeah, thank you, Jana. Jana, tell us all about Francesca Rod, please.
Francesca Rod is a lawyer who specializes in partnerships. 2 of her clients, Samantha Sully and Kate Mays, are setting up a beauty salon. Samantha and Kate have already met Francesca once to ask some questions about operating a business as a partnership. However, they have now decided to include a third partner, NG Forest, in the business. The addition of a new partner means that Francesca will have to think carefully when she defines the term partner in the agreement. All three partners have instructed Francesca that they would like new partners to be able to join them in future if the business is successful. This is another factor that Francesca will have to take into consideration when she defines the term partner in partnership agreement.
Okay, so
should I read after that?
no, I want to just mention something first. Thank you very much, Jana. Very good pronunciation, very clear.
Thank
Doesn't
you.
matter that people have an accent. Scottish people have an accent. Australian people have, American people have an accent, though they don't think so. Doesn't matter that you have an accent. What is important is that people speak clearly. Okay? Doesn't matter that you have a Ukrainian accent. Doesn't matter in the slightest, as long as you speak clearly and pronounce the words. Okay. Right. Now, when you're drafting contracts, most people who write contracts, I mean, the majority of lawyers, like 55, 60% of them, write the clauses and the conditions in the contract on the basis of what they want to happen. If we are really specific with the obligations which we impose on the other side, that means they will have to do these things, and then we will receive the benefits we want. Well, that's good, but it's only half the job. Because a part of the skill of a good contract drafter is to look ahead as to what could go wrong, and in every contract, things can go wrong. Sometimes thousands of things in a construction industry contract, for example. But there's lots of things. And then their skill is to work out what problem would be caused if that particular thing went wrong. And then to work out the best solution for that problem and to write that solution into the contract. So what you're doing is you're writing contracts on the basis of what can go wrong. That way, the contract really should be the instruction manual for the deal. You can't write a contract unless you understand the deal. You must know what the parties are trying to achieve. Otherwise, you won't know what to write in there or what to avoid. So with regard to what could go wrong, well, let's have a look at this. It says the addition of the last line of the first paragraph. The addition of a new partner means that Francesca will have to think carefully when she defines the term partner in the agreement, because perhaps the new partner will not actually work in the partnership. Perhaps they'll just invest money, or perhaps they won't be allowed to own any part of the business. The other two partners will own all the business. The other partner will just receive a salary. So she has to write the clause so that it's capable of being so interpreted, capable of being used, so that it will cover the situation where one new partner just invests money and doesn't work, or works but doesn't own the business. Yeah. Okay. That's why they keep talking about she will have to take into consideration, meaning thinking about, when she defines the word, the term partner in the partnership agreement. So the clause that Francesca drafts must, one, include all three current partners. Okay. Next, include any partner who may join the partnership in the future. And it must, of course, exclude any partner who leaves the partnership. This would apply to any future partners who come in and then after 6 months decide to leave because they don't like it. So this applies to future partners as well as the three current partners. Now, that's what she's got to deal with. So here are three sentences that she may use in relation to those three situations. Let's have a look. Which of these, so we've got A, B, and C. Which of those situations, A, B, or C, does this first phrase, this first sentence cover? Any individual who used to be a partner of the business, but who now stops being a partner for any reason at all. C. Very good, everybody. I have to say, I mean, I know this book is written by a solicitor, but I would have said, who now, oh, the situation she must cover in her clauses. Okay, so they're not the actual clause. Good, all right. Okay, I would have just said, what situation is this, A, B, or C? It has to include all of the individuals who are parties to this agreement at the date of this agreement. What is that, A, B, or C? Not too difficult, is it? It's not rocket science. Yeah, it's A. Good, everybody. Good, Alexi. Good, Natalia. And this. Any individual or individuals who join the partnership, each starting from the particular date on which he or she adds his or her name to the schedule attached to this agreement. Who's that? What situation is that? B. Very good. Thank you. Right. A little bit more complex. Okay. Now, we're going to look at some vocabulary from the agreement. What we got here is respective, schedule, annexed, context, whatsoever. Whatsoever, howsoever, wheresoever. If you want to understand the meaning of those words, just take out the word so. Whatsoever means whatever. Howsoever means however. Wheresoever means wherever. Okay, respective, well, what's this? Which of these words, A, B, C, D, or E, is this? A document containing extra information that is attached to a contract. What would that be? So good. It's an integral part of the contract. It's usually put at the end of the contract because it's usually a list of figures or prices or products, and it would get in the way of the written clauses if we stuck it in the middle of the contract, but it's as much a part of the contract as the written clauses. Good. It's a B, a schedule. Yeah, good schedule, good, Juliana. What does this mean? Relevant, particular, the one thing in a group of things that refers to or belongs to a particular person. Good, let me see what you got there. A, respective. The lawyers and their respective clients, or the clients and their respective lawyers. Okay. The cars and their respective drivers. Good. The children and their respective parents. All right. Attached, number 3. What is attached? Which word means attached? The more formal word of contract writing is C, annexed. And last, and 4, at all. Good. E, whatsoever. And lastly, circumstance or situation would be the what? That's better. Right. Yes, D, the context. What is the context of this agreement? I mean, what is the situation? What in what context did you refuse the offer? I mean, what was the situation? Good. Now then. So we got these 5 words, right? Respective, schedule, annex, context, whatever. Let's use them. Let me just reduce this slightly. Which word goes in A? Oh, A, B, C, or D, or E. Which goes in A? The specifications for the building work that your client will carry out are contained in the something attached to this contract. What will that be? Good. Schedule. Very good. Good, Juliana. Good. Right. B. The company will not pay any additional expenses, something, so you should be very careful not to spend more than the money you have been given. Is it A, B, C, D, or E? E, whatsoever. Meaning whatever. Okay, good. Let's just, what's the next one? C. Something to this draft contract is the list of assets that you are purchasing. So it's on the screen. It's one of those four. What is it? B, C, D, or E? C, yeah. Annexed to this contract. Annexed to this draft contract, sorry. Draft means a first attempt to write it. Okay, fine. And also to draft means the verb to write something for the first time. Okay. What is the full something? Okay. So we've got respective, schedule, annex, context, whatsoever. What is the full something of the dispute between the partners? I only have one person's story so far, so I don't know the exact circumstances. What's the full what? No, I'm sure you've all got it. D, absolutely. What's the full context? Yeah, these are too easy for you guys. Okay. After the meeting, both of the lawyers returned to their offices to discuss the new developments in the case with their what clients? A, B, C, D, or E? Their own clients, we mean. Each one with their own client. That would be their, good, I'm glad you all got A, respective client. Right, well, that was a bit too easy, okay. That's too easy. Okay, we got some vocabulary. We got some words here in bold black type in this clause from the partnership agreement, which deals with, in fact, Natalia, you wanted to read earlier, was that right? Yes? Perhaps you'd read exercise 5 for us, and then you'll read all three clauses one at a time. Okay. Well, no, read all three clauses. So start with exercise. Look at these clauses. Just start with that, please. Okay.
Yeah. Look at these clauses from the partnership agreement. They deal with when the partnership between the three partners will begin and how long the partnership will continue. Match the words and phrases that are highlighted.
That are highlighted.
Highlighted, sorry.
Yeah,
highlighted in the clauses with the meanings below.
Right. So you read. So you read clause 2. Read the whole thing for us, okay? Sorry? In the box. Yeah, read the whole thing okay. In the box again.
Common sense assessment.
Commencement.
Commencement.
Which means beginning, of course. Commencement.
Commencement and duration. Good. Subject to the provisions for retirement, resignation, expulsion, and
expulsion.
And
in fact, I want all of you just to practice that with me. Expulsion. Just say that with me, Natalia. Expulsion. Good. Please continue.
Expulsion and dissolution. Hereinafter, content the firm shall continue during the joint lives of the partners and the survivors
Survivors.
of them.
Okay, please continue.
If any partner cases to be a partner by reason of his death or retirement of
Expulsion, which means
in-
to send out, to expel. Expulsion. Yeah,
in
good.
accordance with the provisions of the agreement, the firm shall not determine as regards the surviving or continuing partners.
Okay, so again, this is for all of you. It's to determine. I know it's spelled mine, but we pronounce it determine. God knows why. Okay, to determine means to end, to finish. A judge makes a decision in which the judge will determine. That's a different meaning of the word. So to determine means to finish as well. Okay. Okay, and then read 2.3 for us, please.
Yeah, the partnership shall continue until terminated at the end of any partnership year by a majority of the partners given to all the other partners, not less than 3 months written notice of their intention to do so.
Okay, 3 months written notice. We put it in writing, but in the past tense it's written.
Written.
Okay, good. Okay, and what was the other thing? Surviving, which means, well, we survive. This is part of the kind of, this is what a phrase I hear in Ukraine. You know, how are you? People say, oh, still living. What they really say in England is, oh, still surviving, which means, you know, which despite everything, I'm alive. Yeah. Okay, and the survivors of them. Right. Now then, so we got these words in bold black type. Thank you very much, Natalie. Good. What's this word? This word means a formal communication or warning that something is about to happen. Which of those words in bold black type is there? Oh, sorry, I'm not looking at the screen, sorry. Yes, notice, formal warning, okay. Now, B, this word describes a situation where someone leaves a business partnership because the other partners force him or her to go. What word would that be? Expulsion. Great. Good. I'm glad I am in fact glad these exercises are too easy for you guys. It means you're doing very well. Right, C. This word means to end or to terminate. The word also has another meaning in legal English, which is to decide. When you see this word in agreement, you must be careful to be sure. You must be careful when deciding which meaning the lawyer is using. Excellent, everybody. To determine. Now it's determine, not determinate. Okay, it's just determine. And the past, to determine. Okay. Past tense is determined. Okay, to determine. Good. Not determinating. D. This is a word to describe the situation. Well, everybody knows this. They're to describe a situation where someone stops working because he or she has reached a certain age. In many countries, this is the age of 65. Well, what word is that? Pretty damn easy, really. Yeah, you've all got this, I'm sure. Yes, retirement. Now, this next one is not quite so easy. E. The terms, conditions, this word describes the terms and conditions contained in a contract. What do we call that word? Provisions. Very good. Right, this next word is a formal way of saying because of. Because of. It's a formal way of saying because of. Good. By reason of. Everybody's got all these. Good. Okay. G. This word describes the situation where a partnership has been brought to an end so that it no longer exists. What word is that? Partnership no longer exists following a process of closing it. Dissolution. Dissolution. Expired would mean, yeah, I see what you, but expired also means it's run out of time, but that expired means to finish because of passing of time. Expire from Latin, time has passed. The effluxion of time, time has flowed, flux, to flow. The effluxion of time is what we describe when leases run out. They're terminated, but they're terminated because time has passed. Here we're describing where the partnership has been closed down because of debts or somebody's died. Okay, that would be dissolution, it's dissolved. Good, what's next? H. This word is a formal word meaning the start or the beginning of something. Ooh. The start or beginning of something. Really? I can't see it. I'm interested to see what anybody else says because I can't see it. H. This is a formal word meaning the start or beginning of something. Really? Oh, yeah, I can see it. Sorry. I can't see it. Yes. Sorry. Yes, commencement. To commence, commencement. Okay, great. Okay. We're not going to deal with that. Right, well, okay, let's just deal with these words and then I'm going to finish a little earlier this evening if you don't mind, but there are two more clauses from the partnership agreement. Explain the meaning of each of the highlighted words. Make sure you check how the words are being used in these clauses. There is an example at the beginning. So who else who hasn't read, who would like to read this out loud to us? Somebody hasn't done any reading this evening. No volunteers? Okay, all right. And then you'll hear okay, Natalia, thank you very much. Natalia, please read this out loud for us, please. Read clauses 6 and 7 for us.
Clauses 6 and 7.
Thank you.
Profits and losses. The partner shall share the profits with each partnership year and bear any loss for any partnership year in the A. Proportions specified opposite their names in column 2 of the schedule 1 here too.
Good.
7. Drawings. Unless otherwise be determined by the partners, each partner shall be C. Entitled to
This one, I won't say, I want you to stress the I, entitled. Good.
To D. Draw from the partnership account on account of his share of the profit for each partnership year. The E. Aggregate monthly sum stated opposite her name in column 3 of the schedule 1 here too.
Okay, good. Okay. Right, so we got some words in bold black type, and again we got 5 words. You got to tell me which goes in. You got to tell me which of these words means this. Proportions means which proportions. Oh, sorry. Ah, sorry. Oh, you have to write this. I beg your pardon. Right. Sorry, Natalia. Okay. Well,
Should I explain or not?
Yeah, who'd like to volunteer to explain what proportions means?
I would say that proportions, it means that a certain value, certain volume of the share. So it's like a matrix in percentages or in radicals.
Yeah, it's the amount, the quantity, the proportion, the share, as you say, the numbered percentage, perhaps, that that makes up something. The proportions. Okay. Determined. Who can tell me what determined means? And by this, I don't mean I'm very determined to lose weight or I'm very determined to run a marathon. What does determined mean in a contract?
Defined or stated or specified.
Yes. When I say determined, well, determined here means ended. Unless otherwise ended by the partners, determined means ended. Okay. Entitled. Oh, wow. Remind me. Entitled is the Norman French word. The Anglo-Saxon word would be what? It's my, give me my wages. I worked hard for them. You must pay me. It's my what?
Right.
Yes, it's my right. Entitled means it's your right to have them. I'm entitled to them. I have the right to have them. The Anglo-Saxons invented the word right. And so not the, so that's say ancient Norse from the Vikings who lived in the north of England. They came up with the word right. The Norman French, when they conquered England 1,000 years ago, brought in the word entitled. Okay. To draw does not. What does draw mean in a contract? In this contract, there, right?
Take from the account.
Take out.
Yeah, take out the money to draw.
Take out the money to draw. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. And aggregate means what? An aggregate.
Cumulative.
Yes, the cumulative, the total amount, the aggregate amount, the cumulative amount. Very good. The total amount of money you're entitled to draw. The aggregate amount of your drawings means the total amount of money you took out of the business. Very good. Let me just have a look what's in the chat box. Okay, good. Ratio, the reason. Ah, okay. Well, I'm not going to go into that. Okay, good. All right. Well, look, we'll finish there for this evening. But let's have a look what I'm going to give you for home tasks. I'm not going to give you that. And I'm not going to give you that. Right, I'm going to send you a text on company law, okay, with some, we've already done this some months ago. Okay, I'm going to send you a new text on company law for you to read about, and the reading will be your home task, okay, just the reading. All right, everybody, thank you very much for your time this evening. I'll see everybody same time next week. I'll make sure I send the copy of the recording out as quickly as possible tomorrow morning, plus the reading. And I've got a couple of new courses which have started with some extra places left during the daytime. So I'll mention those if people want to join me. Let me see, it'll be noon and 2 p.m. Oh, no, not noon. So what time is it, Christine? That's 2 p.m. And who's the other girl? Yeah, noon. Noon on UK time on Friday and Tuesdays. Okay. To do with legal writing. All right, let me have a quick look here. What's in the chat box? Ah, thank you very much, Julia. That's nice. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Irina. Olga. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alina. Thank you very much, Anastasia, Vika. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Alexei. Okay, thank you, Natalia. Thank you, Lyubov. Okay, look, everybody, I want you all to have a wonderful week.
Thank you very much for this lesson.
Ah, you're welcome, Marina. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Valeria, Alona, Olga, Dennis, Victoria, Natalia, thanks so much. Okay, have a great week, everyone. And I'll see you next week. Okay. Oh.
See you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Many thanks.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye.
evening.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
Anastasia.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Olga. Olga, are you in Ukraine?
Yes, right now I'm in Ukraine.
Which city? I mean, without telling me where.
Me
The
either.
city, which city are you in? Kiev or Lviv or where are you?
Right now I'm in Kharkiv.
Oh God. Well, you stay safe, okay?
Yes.
You're not going to take this opportunity to come to the UK.
Yes, I will return, but now I need to be
Oh, you're in Kharkiv.
here
You're coming
to
back
do
to the
some.
UK. Okay, sorry, that's good.
Yes,
Okay.
I
All
need
right,
to
good.
do something
Yeah, of course.
here
Don't worry.
with
That's okay.
documents. And
Yeah, okay. Well, look, you stay safe and see
Thank
you
you
next
so
time.
much.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. Bye. Everyone. Bye. Bye.
Um,
Bye. Bye.